What up, this is Rama Screen at the red carpet premiere of Superman Red Sun. I'm here with the great Jason Isaacs, the voice of Superman. How you do, sir?
I'm pretty good. I'm the voice of Superman. What's not to love?
Exactly. So you've played Eastern European characters on the screen before. Well, can you talk a bit about your process of using that accent and using that approach with this time for the most iconic superhero of all time?
Sure. Well, I mean, I've only done it once. I played a Russian character in Hotel Mumbai with a Russian accent, and I did a bunch of research for it. And one of the things I found is that an authentic Muscovite accent from is so cliched. It sounds so much like an extra from a Bond film. It's very distancing. And the thing about Superman, when you hear him with a Russian accent, and all the characters in Russia, they're meant to be speaking their first language. So it shouldn't sound like someone speaking a foreign language. So you needed to have a facility with language. And also I didn't want it to be an accent that was distancing and that was irritating or made you think you were listening to a villain. He's not. He's the hero of the story, and he's a man with an enormous heart and a fantastic sense of ethics and morals. He's the same Superman we know and love. He just landed somewhere else. So I found someone to model myself on YouTube and amalgamation of that, people I know who have a much less strong accent. Russians nowadays live all over the world. They're well educated, many of them, and they speak multiple languages. And I found a version of a Russian accent that I thought wouldn't irritate or distance the audience.
Speaking of the story, could you tease a bit to my fans? What can they anticipate about Superman Red Sun without spilling details?
Sure. Well, look, Superman lands in Russia, and he is utterly committed to socialism, to egalitarianism, to the world being an equal place, everyone getting equal opportunities. He's against unfairness and injustice, just like the Superman who lands in the West. And throughout the story, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but it's a huge, interesting, challenging roller coaster. You get a kind of flip version of every character you've ever met in the DC universe. And at any point you could stop and sit and talk to your friends or family and go, I don't know what the hell I'd do in that situation. Because they're constantly confronted with dilemmas. And one of the things that reflects in our modern world is that people dig themselves into a position in politics or in personal relationships that they can't get out of, even though there's a bunch of reasons why they should be more flexible and open-minded. And it's apart from it being a great adventure, it's also, I think, an object lesson in how we shouldn't get stuck.
Last question, sir. I'm a big fan of Superman because I believe that even though as human beings can be wishy-washy, we are inherently good. We aspire to be good, and so that's what Superman represents to me. What is it about Superman that resonates with you personally?
No, I agree. I think that's absolutely right, and I think in this particular film, in Superman Red Sun, you've got a man who is clearly very moral and very ethical and wants only what's best. And at the moment, for instance, some people might argue we don't have great candidates to run America, or to run the most powerful position in the free world. But what our film is about is even if you have the perfect man, he is the perfect man in every way, Superman, it's still not easy to make the right decisions. Any decision can be potentially wrong. And it's interesting to watch played out, and it's plenty of food for thought. When the titles roll, that's when the conversations will begin. I'm Jason Isaacs, and you're watching Rama Screen.